What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the RiOT Comedy Podcast presented by RiOT. Shout out to RiOT Natural Spring Water, keeping us healthy and hydrated over here.
Yeah.
NBA Conference Finals underway. The West started last night. We got
Finally.
game one of the East tonight. First initial thoughts of game one last night. Wolves Thunder.
It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Like, I feel like rest is overrated in the NBA because they always come back rusty. And also, when you're a young team like the Thunder, also, like, you don't really need rest anyway. So, like, they just got to just sit there and play meaningful basketball for, like, an extra 5 days. And then basically just, like, keep the tournament going. Where the Thunder, or the Mavs, not the Mavs, but the Wolves were just sitting at home, hanging out,
Yeah.
just relaxing. So, but the main takeaway I took from it was, like, which I thought this going into the series, but, like, Oklahoma City for 48 minutes is clearly a better basketball team than them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They were looking real good last night, and they look
It's
like
it's gonna take Ant getting 35 a night
that's what I was gonna say. He's gonna have to be pushing 40 points to be able to get them.
efficiently and
Yeah,
efficiently
for
as
sure.
well. Like if you
Yeah,
get 40
for them
on
to be able to compete in
25
this
shots
series
and you
is.
have 6 turnovers, that's it for you. So,
Mhm.
and then there's a couple takeaways like from what I've been seeing. Maybe that like the biggest takeaway isn't like there's definitely a case to be made now that Shea's the best player in the league
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
I don't know. Like so, going back to that Denver Nuggets series, I don't know if you can say who the Thunder's second best or most important player was. Like I don't think they had a clear cut like, this was the second best player in this series. I don't even know if they had that on their team. And Shea beat the best player in the world. Still. Like granted, I do think the Thunder are like a little bit of a better basketball team than the Nuggets, this, that, or the other, but whew, boy howdy. Like that
Yeah,
dude's balling. So at the end of the
yeah,
day, like I'm also taking away that just like Anthony Edwards is also really good. Um, not a lot. Nothing has shocked me so far. I know it's just game one, but like nothing that I thought was gonna happen. Everything I thought was gonna happen did, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. I mean, we both had OKC coming into this series. It's really just a matter of how many games do you think they're going to end it in. My initial thought was 6 games.
That's what I would say.
Um,
Still,
after watching game one, I might change it to 5 games
well, I think Ant's good enough to get you at least one, like by
for
himself.
sure.
Like
Absolutely,
nobody else even plays
absolutely.
that well, and I get one for us. So I think he's
Yeah,
that good. And then I also think Julius Randle is good enough to where like him plus Ant can get you another win in another game. I think Julius Randle. I mean, he played really well yesterday, though.
yeah,
That's a game if you're Minnesota that you would have really liked to have stolen because you're up by 4 at half. You got like the first half out of the way. Julius Randle's balling. Ant's looking pretty good. They got 30 plus points in the first half. All in all, like you played a pretty good game. Like, and then it was just too much at the end of the day. Because what sucks is like Minnesota can play really good basketball. This is going to be the whole difference in this series. I think Anthony Edwards can control the pace of the game, and they have good enough players to where for 40 to 42 minutes a night, they can play really good basketball. But the Thunder just have this tendency to where like they'll play good basketball for 48 minutes, and then they'll have a 2-minute stretch where their defense is just fucking going and getting it, and they're going to score
yeah,
10 points
yeah.
on you pretty
Absolutely.
quick. And they do it
Yeah,
in like a humiliating fashion. Like if somebody
yeah,
besides Steph, of course, because Steph's different, but if anybody like if the game's tied and then the other team hits like 3 3-pointers in a row, it's like, okay, let's call a timeout. We blew some defensive assignments. Like, let's get this shit going again. Where the Thunder are going to steal the ball 3 times from you and rip it from you and go down there and dunk it or lay it up, and then just
yeah,
like bully, like just take the ball from you and keep scoring and get 5 layups instead. Which, like, I don't know if any like, people who do play basketball, you know how demoralizing it is to where the other team is taking
yeah,
the ball from you.
yeah,
You make
yeah.
a couple
Absolutely.
shots, they make a couple shots. It's like, okay, we're kind of just in the flow of the game. Our shots will start to fall.
Yeah,
When you're
for
not
sure.
really getting shots up or you're getting bad shots up and
Yeah,
then the other team is getting
yeah,
fast break points, it's fucking demoralizing
yeah.
because, like,
Hell yeah,
you
it is.
feel like they're better than you.
Definitely,
It gives you the
definitely.
feeling of, like, fuck. Like it's like
Yeah,
whenever like you're part of like a small white team and then you play like the school with the tall black kids, like you have these
yeah,
stretches where you're just like, fuck. Well, obviously,
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
like this game's not fun no
Yeah.
more.
There were moments in the game last night towards the end where Minnesota was almost starting to show that kind of body language where they're
Where it's
like,
just like,
fuck,
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 man.
are these guys that much better than us?
They might be. Like, they might be. And what sucks for, like, the Timberwolves in this series is I didn't think it was going to play out quite as much as it did. But it did is that, like, Julius Randle's pretty big, pretty strong, you know, but he's just not tall enough for, like, Hartenstein and Chet. Like, he's going to get his shots
Yeah,
up. He's a pretty good scorer, but, like, that bullying, like Draymond Green and bullying LeBron James, that shit's probably not gonna fly that much this playoff series because like Chet's not very
yeah,
big, but he's also not 100, so he
right,
can keep
right.
coming. Like LeBron and Draymond, them old
Them
motherfuckers
dudes
start
is
to get a little
old.
tired. They start to get a
Them
little
dudes is
tired, and
old.
it's not quite the same. Where Chet can
Yeah,
go up and down for 38 minutes, and the next game come back and play. Because even if I'm sore after this
right.
game, I'm not gonna be
I'll be
sore
good
when we
in two
play again.
days because I'm like 23 years old. It don't
Like
matter.
I think Chet's this is his third year, so I think Chet's 22, maybe he is 23, but still, like I'm not sore. I'm not sore tomorrow when I wake up.
Nah, nah.
So that's a big thing here, and also if you're
It
the
also does help
Timberwolves,
being 7 feet tall, even if you ain't super swollen, super duper strong. Like being 7 feet and you got another 7 footer down there with you, and you got two 7 footers holding down the paint, like that shit's
it's
usually pretty
hard.
effective throughout NBA history. It's been a great a great way
It's a
to have
great
your team set
strategy,
up.
and like the one thing that I think that's like interesting for the Timberwolves too is like if you're the coach right now, you're gonna have to play like some serious chess with Rudy Gobert. Because there's like
Yeah,
instances in this series where it's not you're not really going to notice it because it's not like Rudy Gobert's guys I'm referring to, but like when they put like a super heavy defensive lineup in there, whenever you have like Caruso and Dort in there, like maybe at the same time, or you have like some long and athletic guys out there on the perimeter. Like one thing that's interesting is like when Rudy Gobert catches the ball, you can tell that he's one of those basketball players where like he's probably already made up his mind what he's going to do on this move before he does it.
definitely, definitely.
Like I'm gonna fucking go to the rim this time, or I'm gonna fake and then kick it to the corner. Like he kind of
Yeah.
like, and he just does it kind of randomly. I don't think he actually realizes that he's not really breaking down defenses and shit. It's like the Thunder, like they collapse pretty hard, and like they'll either strip the ball from him or they'll just wait and watch what he's doing, and his whole body language will give up what he's doing, and then they'll
Hmm.
just steal the ball on the pass or something like that. So like Rudy Gobert needs to be in there for the bigs, but once they start running these like super defensive minded fucking defenses out there on you. Like Rudy
Yeah.
Gobert's got to go. And even if you have to give a little bit of height and
He
rebounds, he's
does
got to go.
because he's one of those guys who like he's like 7'2" probably, and he
Yeah,
doesn't keep the ball way up here. Like,
correct.
and especially you can't do that against the Thunder. They're too good at defense. Their hands are too good. Like if you're a big dude and you bring the ball low, it's gone. You can't do that against the Thunder.
Correct. And they've already been established as a nitty gritty defensive team. So like and you're in the playoffs, so referees are going to let them go across your forearms a lot
Yeah,
with no
yeah,
call, with
absolutely,
absolutely nothing
absolutely.
called. So
Yeah.
that's something that I would like to see Minnesota do. Is like you might have to sacrifice a little bit of height and tell your players to fucking man up a little bit because like Rudy Gobert deserves to be on an NBA court. I'll say it. Like I don't love his game, but like he's good enough to be in the league, obviously, and you should play him some in this series. But like you're gonna have to adjust your lineups to guard play for your centers, and that's that's a really hard chess move to make and get right on a
Yeah,
consistent basis.
yeah,
So it
no
is
doubt.
possible, but like then you're kind of running the risk of like I mean Nas Reed and Julius Randle, like y'all motherfuckers just gonna have to get big and you guys are gonna have to lower your scoring some. Like we might need Julius Randle to get us 15 points a game because he's pretty tired on defense, and these other
Hmm.
guys are gonna have to step up. So asking a lot of these guys to get past the Thunder in this series, but we'll see. I mean, I think Anthony Edwards is good enough to where like give you a couple aha moments in this series though, to where like you kind of feel like the Wolves might have a chance, and then like but
Yeah.
like deep down inside you know it's not the case. Like you're
Yeah.
just like
Hey,
ah.
I hope I get that feeling because honestly, like, I'm really just hoping we can get a few good games out of this, and the Thunder don't win every game by 13 to 15 points, and then lose one game by 10, and then that's the series, you know?
Yeah, I do. I do, but it could happen. Previewing tonight's game though, we got Knicks Pacers tonight. I think that this series is a lot closer than other people think.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
gonna be a drag out, I think.
however, I also think that the Knicks have an arguable case for hardest like trip to the finals. I do. I think that they have a case that like
That's fair.
we played the best teams in the playoffs. Like we beat, as far as our journey goes, we had the hardest journey to get
Yeah.
here. Like I know the Thunder played the Nuggets, but I do think that that's the only high quality team that they're going to play. And like when I look at what the Knicks did, like I think that the Pistons were pretty solid. Like I think that that's a team that like if
Definitely, definitely a good first round matchup to get you ready for the next round of the playoffs. The
I think
Pistons
if the
ain't no slouch. Like
I think the Pistons would have beat
they're
Milwaukee.
solid.
I think they beat Milwaukee. Shit, I think that they could have beat like the Rockets, maybe even. Like I think the Pistons had a really good game plan going into that series. I think the Pistons were pretty solid. I think
Definitely, like their biggest problem looked like inexperience. Like
for
every,
sure,
there were a lot of close games, and the Pistons had no chance in those close games against a team like the Knicks. The Knicks, number one, they have the best closer in the game, Jalen Brunson,
that's what it came down to.
and
That's what the whole
yeah,
series came down
absolutely,
to.
absolutely, it came down to Jalen Brunson going beast mode in the last 5 minutes of the game, and the Pistons playing like a team that hadn't been in the playoffs for a decade.
For sure. And then we all know they had to beat the juggernaut of the league. They had to beat
Yeah,
they had to do
yeah,
something that like I wasn't sure was possible. Like I always thought I
same,
because
same,
we've been saying all year that like we think the Celtics are the best team because they are. And we think that
right.
like the only people that can stop them are themselves is what we've been saying as well, which we definitely got that right to an extent. But I never like and I've been the guy that's for a long time been like you can't just shoot threes and win a championship. I've been saying it forever. I told you this and you
They
would
did it.
argue
They
with
did it
me,
last year, though. They did it. They pulled it off once.
but I saw a much more aggressive Jalen Brown last year. I saw a much like more aggressive
True,
Porzingis because he
definitely.
was much more healthy. Like
Yeah,
they had enough inside out game to where like it
yeah,
wasn't just if we make threes we win. Like they took it even to the more extreme this year. They took it to the
yeah.
extreme this year. And last year I don't think they won a championship from threes. I think they won a championship from having the best roster. Like that's really what
Well,
it comes down to.
I looked at the stats from every finals game last year, and basically, if you take away all the 3 pointers that were shot, the Celtics would have lost.
That's fine. And that's fine. That's because they're worth more points. But like the Mavericks weren't ready. Like they exploited Luke on they played really good defense too, is what they did as
They
well,
did.
like
They
last
did.
year. And this defense wasn't as good. But like for instance, but all things aside from Boston, they're out of the playoffs. They don't fucking matter. Fuck Boston. But like they
I
beat
heard that
Boston,
shit.
and they were gonna beat Boston regardless. Like they were gonna beat
Tatum
those
or no Tatum,
motherfuckers
that series
regardless.
was over. That shit
Anybody
was
who's
over.
like, well, if Tatum doesn't get hurt, we're coming back 3-1. Like, okay,
Absolutely
I
not.
heard the same thing about going down 2-0 after they tied it at 2-1. They're like, all we got to do is get one in New York and we're going to go back home tied, and like you couldn't do that either. You got 1 out
No.
of 4, which means that you're probably going to lose
Right.
the series cuz you're not as good.
Shit was
And
over. Shit was over
and
as fuck.
so they beat Boston. And then I
And,
don't think
and it ain't like you all barely lost a couple games. Like you blew 20-point leads at home in the first two games. That automatically is like you ain't ready to win a championship this year,
correct.
or like
Correct.
you ain't ready to repeat.
Correct.
You don't have it. If you blow two 20-point leads in the first two games of a series at home, you are not going to win the championship this
It's
year.
very deflating. Um and I don't think
And it
Indiana's a
also shows that
slouch.
The Knicks are just that much better.
Correct. And I don't think Indiana's a slouch. Like me personally, like at this point, like from what I've seen and how these teams have played and shit, dog, like I don't think that OKC has a much harder like series against the Minnesota Timberwolves than the Knicks have against the Pacers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The Pacers play good ass team basketball. They have a floor general who knows how to keep his guys involved and get everyone on the court involved. I mean, this dude has the record for most like 20 assists, zero turnover games already in NBA history.
Right.
When you got a smart dude who takes care of the basketball and is minimizing turnovers for your team, that minimizes fast break points for the other team. If you can take care of the basketball, you keep yourself in a really good position, and they play hard. We talk about it all the time. Like in the regular season, you can get 20 wins just by playing hard. You're
Yep.
guaranteed for 20 wins if you just play hard every night.
Correct.
And Indiana's like one of those teams that they come to play, and they got about 5, 6 dudes that can drop 20 on your head any given night.
You
So
know what's interesting, by the way, completely off topic, and it just popped in my head, and I want to talk about it because fuck it. So, one thing I've always wondered about, like we've talked about it so many times, and it makes me realize how much smarter we are than 99% of people who talk about basketball. I'll toot my own horn on this one, but like we've talked about for a long time, like all these players were like, well, it's positionless basketball now. Like you got to have players that play so many different positions, and you got to have this, and you got to have that, and it's all about this positionless basketball. And it's
Dumb as
hilarious
hell.
too because all the teams in the conference finals right now don't have positionless basketball. It's all just guys who
No,
play
no.
their position. Like the Knicks, we got 1 through 5 here. Like we got guys that know how to play their positions. Josh
Hmm.
Hart is a shooting guard. Mikal Bridges is a small forward. Jalen Brunson is a point guard. Like Cat is a center right now. Like, and he plays it pretty well. Like these guys, they have positions though. The Timberwolves have super
Absolutely, absolutely.
positions. The Pacers, all
Well,
they built a team just of
if
like
if if you look at, we're in a parity season during the NBA where we're gonna have 7 straight years of a different champion.
right,
Every single one of those champions over the last 7 years has had basketball players that play their positions, except for the Warriors in 2022.
correct,
And that's it. The rest of these teams have had a center, point guard, shooting guard, 1 through 5, your guys. And it's like it
right.
works always.
It
It
always
always
works.
works.
And it's so funny too because it's just like so like the Pacer strategy is like I've always wondered about this strategy in the NBA and how well it would work. Is like so we don't pay anybody a maximum here unless like you're super fucking good, right? But like what we try
Mm.
to do is we try to get a top 10 player at each position. Like I've always wondered how that strategy would work. Like instead of giving everybody 60, like what if you have a bunch of guys that get like 38 and 40?
Yeah, yeah,
And like I think that that's kind of like and like Jalen Brunson not taking the maximum is like kind of what the Knicks are going for too a little bit. Like it's just
yeah.
interesting like that type of build because it's always like I wonder if that would work. Like you don't have a superstar, but you have two quality all-stars and a bunch of guys who would start on other teams in the
Yeah,
NBA.
bunch of guys who are really good basketball players.
Cuz like when I think about it like the Pacers roster right now like their top 8 guys are probably going to make 80%, 85% of all rosters in the NBA right now. If all those guys just became free agents, like
Hmm.
every team in the NBA is calling these motherfuckers to be like, come be on my
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah.
So I've always
Absolutely,
wondered that
absolutely.
strategy, and it's cool to see like kind of what they're doing with it. And the Pacers have always kind of done this strategy, and it's always why they're kind of good, but never like super good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just an interesting strategy that they're going for because like,
Well, it looks like it'll work well enough to get you to the conference finals and lose 2 years in a row.
hey man, hey man, like I guess that's better. I don't know. Is it better than it's better than being the Wizards?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're a Pacers fan, the last 2 years have been pretty fun.
Absolutely. And I tell people this because, like, I get in an argument with our other brother, Dylan, all the time about how he's like, nah, fuck that. Like, you do all these things and you go get this guy and you do this and do this. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes, though, you do have to look mildly to the future and also just know that, like, we are good enough, though, to where if one person goes down, we'll win a championship.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you also want to be that good a lot of the time, too, because, like, the
Yeah,
Pacers, like, are in a position now to where, like, God forbid Jalen Brunson breaks his hand again and then Shea fucking, you know, gets a colonoscopy that goes wrong, God forbid any of these things happen, and like you win a championship, and then like if you're Tyrese
absolutely.
Halliburton, like you're an all-time great point guard already. When who
Right,
even knows if you
right.
deserve to be? But like you took the Pacers to a championship. Like
Yeah,
Kawhi Leonard is like a fucking legend from taking the Raptors to the championship, and that team is solid. Like when you go back and look at that roster, like this roster is
hmm.
pretty good. But at
No doubt,
no
no
point
doubt.
has when people were looking at that, they were like, "That's a championship team," because they weren't.
Yeah,
They were good enough to get to one, but they were never going to beat the Warriors if the Warriors were healthy. And everybody knows it. It's not a
absolutely
fucking
not.
secret.
Absolutely not.
It's not
Absolutely not.
anything other than just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like they got the shit kicked out of them. But like they got one. But they fucking did it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like
absolutely.
Steph Curry got his first championship and a lot of his confidence. I think Steph gets championships regardless, but like he got his first championship and a lot of his confidence from that.
Every single team that they played that year was injured. They didn't play one starting point guard through 4 rounds of the playoffs.
You see what I'm saying? So like sometimes it's cool to be lucky. Like sometimes
Yeah,
like
for sure.
and if you're just that team that's always like, we're just going to suck dick forever until we get like an all time great player, like the NBA's not going to let you have them either. So, like, you
For sure.
might as
And
well.
that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. The Wizards should not be allowed to have a number 1 pick. I don't care if you win 0 games for 10 years in a row. Like, disband your franchise before you get a number one pick. Like,
Agreed.
no more rewarding garbage fucking franchises with number one picks because you sucked ass. Like,
Like if you're the Hornets,
sorry everyone, the 76ers ruined it for you all by living in the draft lottery for 6 years and fucking turning it into nothing. They've never made a conference finals with all those picks. They never did anything.
and here's the thing too,
So
is like I don't know, man. It's frustrating too, just because like you're the Hornets and you have LaMelo Ball on your team, who is a good basketball player. He is a good basketball player. Nothing more than that. I don't want anybody to get too overhyped on the guy, but like you ain't ever once brought this dude in a veteran who was worth a fuck. You ain't ever once even been able to draft a guy that's mildly going to look like a sidekick to this guy. Like Brandon Miller, fingers crossed for him. He looked decent his rookie season. But like at the end of the day, you guys don't do shit.
don't do shit over there.
So
Don't do
like it's
shit
just one
over
of those
there.
things where it's just like I don't know, man. Like, and we talk about it too. Like, well, how is he supposed to get good in these small markets? And it's like, well, like the Thunder have never had a one pick. They're pretty good most of the time. We don't
Yeah,
ever see the
and
fucking Portland Trailblazers get a one pick. Not for real. They got it once with
and
Red
you know,
Alert a long time ago, but they're usually
I'm not asking
decent.
you. I'm not asking you to get good enough to be a contender. I'm just asking like, don't be an embarrassment. That's all I'm shooting for. Is like, don't be an embarrassment. You can have a number one pick, but you can't be out here. And honestly, like the Hornets should be barred from picking top 10. They run their franchise so poorly. Like,
It's
you shouldn't be allowed
insane.
to have a top 10 pick. Honestly, you shouldn't be allowed to have any picks. You shouldn't be allowed to
Correct.
draft anybody. Like
We need to send
like you
them
got to
down.
work.
Send them
You
down to
got
the
to work trades in
WNBA,
free agency.
like
Would you
Premier
say?
League. Send them down to the WNBA like they do in the Premier League. Like
Absolutely.
you guys got to go play in G League.
Absolutely.
I was kidding about the WNBA, but like the G League, like they win championship in WNBA. They get to come back real fast. But send these motherfuckers down to the G League. And like, okay, you guys, like that's the thing is like, I feel like these motherfuckers don't even like you gotta just start trying crazy shit. Like, I want all the G League players, like all the best G League players. Like, I'm gonna take some of these guys. I'm gonna take some of these guys. Like, you gotta try to put something together. You gotta try fucking anything more than just sucking dick all the time. Like, how tired are you guys' jaws?
I think their problem is though they need to know everything. They need a I don't know who owns them
New
now after
logo,
Jordan
new
sold them.
name,
They need new logo, new name,
new
new
city,
front office.
new city.
They need new fucking beer vendors and janitors.
Like
Every single person gone.
we talk about like some expansion teams coming into the NBA, which I'm all me personally, I'm all for. But like we got to take the dick sucky teams and move them at least to a different. Try something like Charlotte.
You
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 guys don't need an NBA
you'll
team.
you'll never find somebody more against NBA expansion than me. I think they
I
need to
already
get
know.
rid of
I
multiple
already know.
teams.
I think there's
At
enough
least
players.
two.
I don't think that we should punish players and not get more rich people in the world because owners don't know what they're doing, though, because there is enough talent in the world to create 32 NBA teams, and everybody should have an all-star quality player on your team. It's just that these motherfuckers suck dick at running teams. So I don't think we should penalize people for getting rich. Like, let these young kids get rich and stimulate their families' lives forever. Make people sell their teams. Like we've talked about before, like there's enough talent to go around to where you should be able to make the playoffs 3 or 4 years every decade. Every decade. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel that, but the league it's super top heavy. It's always been super top heavy. It's always going to be super top heavy. So my thing is like every single player who fills out roster spot 11 and 12, get those guys out of the league. Get them the
Nah.
fuck out of here. Get them the fuck out of here.
Need more
Don't
rich
need them.
people.
Don't need them.
Need more rich people. And
Got
also,
plenty. Go
what's
get
not
rich doing something else. Go make cartoons.
what's not fair about that, dog, is that like they don't develop players enough though when you go that route. Like if you had like 2 less teams, Austin Reeves might not be in the league. Just cause
No
just
way.
cause homeboys
Impossible.
look
Nah, he'd be
just
here.
maybe. He wasn't drafted. He had to go
True.
fucking play fucking summer league and work his dick off and all this shit. Dog, like there's gonna be guys that then slip through the cracks that could have been good NBA starters. I think too. Like I do think there's enough
I'm
talent
okay with
going
that.
around the world. I think there's enough
I'm
talent.
okay with that.
Nah, I'm not okay with that, dog. I'm not okay with that, man. Like, cause then we're gonna lose good basketball. We're gonna lose some good basketball, and like
You would never notice. The overall level of what you see on the court would be so much better.
I see. I disagree. I think that you're still going to have poor owners that run their teams into the ground. Even if you get rid of 2 NBA teams, the league is
No,
still going to be the same dick sucking.
see what I'm saying is like the 4 worst run teams in the NBA, get rid of them.
And then there's going to be the new 4 worst teams that try to get the 1 pick too, dog. Like there's 10, but there's 10 bad owners in the NBA. There's not 4, there's 10.
But the 4 worst, get rid of them.
Right. And then but it
We
doesn't
can't get
solve the
rid of 10
problem.
teams. Then the league ain't big enough.
I know, but what I'm saying is like you can't though, like that doesn't solve any problems.
What do you mean? It does solve problems.
No, it doesn't. It just has less teams. There's still gonna be people that tank. Then you're just gonna have the 4 next pieces of shits. That are just pieces of shits and exploiting the system and making even more money.
But they are better owners than the bottom 4. So it's okay. So if we get rid of 4 teams, that's
Correct.
50 players out of that means your 50 worst players in the NBA are gone. Not that they're all on those 4 teams, but those 4
Almost.
teams, their best players go to other teams, and the 50 best players in the NBA are gone, or the worst are gone. So that automatically makes the competition better.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have teams, but like that's the competitions for me isn't the problem. Like there's enough good players to go around to where like we even see it in the Western Conference where you have fucking 10 teams over there that all have winning records, dog. Like there's enough talent already. Like I don't think losing the bottom 50, like we have to lose the bad owners. Like, and if you cut the 4 out, that doesn't cure the problem. Like we need to have rules in place to where if your team's X amount of dick sucky so many years, you got to sell them and try to get better. Cause I think there is enough talent to go around. I think bad owners are fucking it up. And they also is like, and also like all the analytics are fucking it up and leaving like good NBA players off the court too and shit like that. So like, I don't think reducing the teams is going to solve that problem. I think it's just going to like enhance it because then you're going to have like the 2 worst owners in the league now, like the 2 that are left.
Okay. So you're talking about expanding the NBA. That makes it worse because you still have all the shitty owners who are all tanking. Plus, we have more players in the NBA who ain't
That's why I
qualified to
think
be here.
that's why I think that you need to make people sell their teams. But I think there's enough talent to have 2 more NBA teams is what I'm saying. I don't like you can't trust those owners of those teams because they're probably going to be owned by gambling companies that fucking don't give a shit and just fucking play margins all day and ruin the league. But like
Facts.
that's the worst part of it. But like it'd be nice if like you had to sell your team so that like some rich and like teams didn't cost as much so we could have more Mark Cubans buying teams and shit like that. Like that's
We
how
don't
you
need
fucking
fucking
save
Mark
this
Cuban.
shit.
Mark Cuban's a super regular ass owner. There's nothing special about Mark Cuban as an owner. He's borderline sucky.
When you buy a regular ass organization and you consistently put them in the playoffs and players then come out and say that this is one of the best organizations to play for and you win a championship, like he's not a dick sucky owner. He changed the whole culture.
Didn't say he was dick sucky. Didn't say he was dick sucky. Said
He's
he's
an
regular.
amazing owner. He's one of the few owners that
He's
I would
regular.
wanna play for him.
There's nothing amazing about owning a team for 25 years, winning 1 championship. You never brought Dirk Nowitzki, another fucking All NBA player. You never put a super dope roster around him. You literally fucking drafted a guy and said, "I think this guy's good enough to win us a championship on his own," and he fucking did it. That's a shitty owner.
Nah, I don't think Cuban's a shitty owner
That's a
at all.
shitty owner to me.
I don't think he's shitty. I don't think that free agents were going to go to Dallas and play with Dirk. Me personally, I don't think like free agents.
Well, one thing I do know for certain is that there was at least one occasion. This was whenever Darren Williams was in his prime, and Dallas wanted Darren Williams, I believe. Mark Cuban couldn't go to the fucking pitch meeting because he was filming Shark Tank.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't get him because he got fat immediately. This was probably when he went to the Nets in free agency. Then he got fat.
But this was whenever he was still in his prime. Was whenever they were trying to get him.
No, I know. I'm just
And
saying. Like, and I agree with some of these things, but I'm just saying, like, I don't consider him a dick sucky owner because, like,
me neither. I consider him regular. He's a
that
regular owner.
motherfucker don't want to tank though. Like, that's what we need. Those owners who don't want to tank.
I mean, I feel that for sure. And you know, there's great teams that figure out ways to do it. You know, Miami never tanked, Houston never tanked. You know, Indiana never tanks.
Right.
And these teams are always up in the mix of things. But yeah, I was never impressed with Mark Cuban as an owner. He's a cool guy, it seems like. And yeah, he was the first person to put like TVs in the locker room and like do extravagant shit.
He
But as
changed
far
the
as
whole
like
culture of the league.
putting a roster together as an owner and like you were never willing to like do what it takes to bring Dirk what he actually deserved.
Yeah, my thing about it is like you did such a good job as an owner that you changed the culture of the NBA to where owners had to step up their game and be better. Like that's an owner that I can get behind as an owner that changed standards for people because his standards were so high. And like that is a fucking owner
You
that
just made your
deserves.
facilities nicer. So you're good for that. But
Yeah.
as far as like team operations, regular ass fucking job over here.
If people love playing for you, you're doing a decent job as an owner, period, though. Like, well, I don't want to talk about Mark Cuban too much because at the end of the day, fuck him. He don't own him no more. And, like, this is exactly what's ruined. Like, the NBA is not getting ruined because of fucking lack of talent. It's not getting ruined because of anything other than business people own teams now, and they don't give a fuck, and they only look at money, and then they just fucking run them into the ground. That's the biggest problem is because real sports fans don't have $5 billion because we were busy fucking playing sports and not reading. Probably should have been. Probably should have been doing stuff. But like they've just priced everybody out to where it's just like big giant conglomerates that own that and real estate
Yeah,
companies that own them now, and they just
yeah,
build shit. And they're like, and like when they walk into an owners meeting now, it's not even like, hey guys, so like we made it this far in the playoffs. We think we should draft this guy. Like, what are we thinking? I feel like the first initiative in an owners meeting now is like, so we just bought like this whole housing project, right? And we just kicked everybody out, and we're gonna bulldoze that bitch, and we're gonna put a casino, and there's gonna be a walkway from the stadium to the casino, and then there's gonna be a
definitely,
fucking whirly dirly water
definitely.
slide, and then people are gonna be able to
All that.
gamble at the bottom of it, and then after they gamble, they're gonna be able to go across the street to this hotel that we own and get jacked off by a masseuse. Like that's what they talk about in these fucking meetings instead
Definitely,
of being like, this
definitely.
is how we get better.
These
It's how
motherfuckers
we
don't
get
give a shit
richer.
about winning basketball.
It's how we get
How do we
richer.
how do we fucking get more money out of these fucking fans?
Out of
That's
these
all
fucking
the fuck
fans.
they think
How do we
about.
exploit this lifelong love to take as much of their
Yeah,
fucking money as possible
absolutely,
and give them
absolutely,
shit
dog.
and give them fucking dog shit? Like I remember
Absolutely.
a time in America whenever you gave somebody fucking dog shit, they smacked you in the fucking mouth for it, and we had standards, and we would just be
The
like,
good
you
old
know what,
days.
fuck this place then. Like what? You used to get fed on an airplane like meals and shit. You used to fucking like you could smoke on them. You could fucking do whatever you wanted. And now fuck can't do shit but fucking give people your money. Sucks dick.
Yeah, yeah, dog.
Tickets are expensive as fucking shit, dog. I can't even watch dudes. I can't even afford to watch dudes wrestle and shit at Backlash and shit, dog.
I feel you. It's retarded. But
I'm just trying to watch
game
some
one
rough
tonight.
dudes wrestle.
Who you got? Knicks Pacers game one. Who you taking?
Oh God, I'm gonna go Indiana game one. I think Indiana
Interesting.
comes out, takes game one, and then we see. Man, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to pick Indiana in this series just because of how good of basketball they played, but I can't go against Jalen Brunson. But I think Pacers take game one, and then I think you see the Knicks take like the next two. Pacers take game four at home, and then we got a best of three series after that. That's what I think is going to
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
And then we'll see what
I'm,
happens after that. But I think the Knicks win game six. I think the series goes 6 games, and I think the
yeah.
Knicks take it in Indiana to rub it in their faces, and we don't even get back to the Garden for game 7.
I also think it ends in 6. I'm gonna take the Knicks tonight. However, if Indiana wins tonight, I think the Knicks win 3 in a row. Indiana wins game 5. Knicks go on and bust their ass in game 6.
I almost thought that too. I almost said like that the Knicks might win 3 in a row after that. But I really want to watch these teams play because I want to see how Cat plays against Miles Turner. I think that that's like the most interesting
Yeah.
matchup of this series for me because Miles Turner's not really like a tough center. He's just kind of a finesse
Hmm.
center, which is fine. But doesn't mean he can't block shots and do all those things. But Cat's been having like a tendency sometimes where like if he thinks he has a better matchup in the post, Cat will bang a little bit. And I
Yeah.
want to see if Cat can do that to him or not. And if he can't, then I think the series is a little bit more interesting.
Hmm.
But I want to see that matchup more than anything, like even more than the Brunson Halliburton, because like Halliburton ain't gonna play a lot of defense on Brunson.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
for
ain't gonna
sure.
be doing that. So that's the matchup I want to see and see how those two dudes play. Because I think if Miles Turner can even get you like 18 points a game in this series, like I think the Knicks could be in trouble.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see, man. Mitchell
Yeah,
Robinson is an NBA
it'll be a good
factor
series.
too.
It's gonna be entertaining. I can't wait to get it cracking. So we both got Knicks Thunder going to the championship.
Correct. Correct.
Let's see how it plays out.
Fucking
But
crazy. All
that's
right,
our
Dan.
podcast for today. We appreciate y'all rocking with us.
All
Stay
right,
up,
we'll
everybody.
holla. Peace.